Fearless Pioneer.
Yo, what's going on guys? EJ here, bringing another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. Today guys, we've got a follow-up video from when we did the evil commanders, all the new relic gear and their skills and stats. So we're going to be going through all the good side. I believe there's around about 37 commanders in total. It's going to be in a bit of a random order from how my rarities are now on the game. So we're going to be going up because I don't really have many mighties anymore. And then going up from epics and then into the legendaries and everything like that. But it will all be marked through and timestamped throughout the video if you want to jump out and see which ones that you particularly want to see for each commander. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so we're going to start first off here with Ori. We're going to go into his relic. So the relic is going to be his Dwarven Slingshot. So it's going to have 3 command skills of command, attack and defense of plus 20 command, 4 attack and 5 defense, and a unit buff of defense of 5. Now the skill will be called Perfect Planning. So from round 4 onwards, dwarf ranged units in a commander's formation have a 16.7% chance to deal maximum damage each round. Now this is not going to be at a max refined level. So this is the lowest at 16.7%. So this will go up at a maxed refined rate. Next we have is Hirgon's Red Arrow. 3 command skills once again with a little bit more command this time of 30. And the attack and defense buffs of plus 4 with a unit defense of 4. The skill is called Dual Heritage. When your army is composed of only men, increases the recovery received by one allied formation by 4%. So going to be a pretty low used relic. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really going to be using Red Arrow. Like, Hirgon's got a couple of good skills, but yeah, there's a lot better commanders to use. Next we have is Celeborn Cinder Scepter. Now it has 2 commander skills of command plus 20 and focus of 6, and then buffing 2 unit skills with attack of 4 and defense of 6. Now the skill of Wise Guidance, for every 2 rounds this formation units recover 50% HP once, and their defense increases by 1 and lasts for 1 round. That is quite a very good skill there. Okay, Elladan. So Elladan's Nocturne has 2 commander skills of increasing HP of 180 and command attack of plus 6, with a unit attack and defense buff of 5 and 4 points. The skill of Sudden Strike, the target of each normal attack suffers of one of the following effects: defense reduction of 1 for minus 1 round, attack of 0.3 of 1 round, and receives 20% physical damage once. So, okay, a little bit of extra damage there, and some negative effects to the enemy's army. And of course, these stats will go up with further refinement. Okay, Elrohir. So we have Imrahil's Quiver, which has 2 command skills of HP of 215, which we usually see with the evil side was the highest that it went. And then the commander's attack of plus 4, unit attack of 6, and unit defense plus 4. Now, just a note, when refining these, you will, and strengthening, you will get random ones of these buffs here get increased. So it's not going to increase all of them, it's going to be a random one at each time. Okay, the skill of Homeland Guardians. This formation's units gains the following effects according to race. Elves, the damage dealt is increased by 1%. Men's damage received is reduced by 0.6%. And dwarves gain madness immunity. Okay, pretty nice. Hail Denathor, son of Exelithor, Lord and Steward of Gondor, with his Goblet of the First Steward. Okay, so he has a base of Commander HP of 145 buff and Commander attack of 4, increasing unit attack and defense plus 6. The skill of Steward's Hubris reduces damage received by one of the formations, Militar, Spearman, or Guard Tower by 4.1%. Okay, so it's going to buff them or the Guardman, which is pretty good. But overall, I think it's going to be a pretty low used relic. Okay, next we have is Arwen, who was very nerfed. So her Ring of Barahir here has command of plus 30 with focus buff of 5, with unit and attack of 4 and 5 points buffs on the units. Her skill of Mortal Bond, Arwen's recovery effectiveness, will be increased at a base of 2.5%, and the focus will also be buffed by 2.5% when the army includes both elves and men. So that quite hasn't been changed just yet, because you kind of have a mixture. So I think how that's going to work now, if your formation of 4 commanders have elves and men, it'll probably work in that aspect. So they actually haven't changed that yet, although they did update a lot of these. Next we have is Imrahil, with the 2 commander skills of commander plus 20 and attack plus 4, increasing unit attack and defense plus 6 each. The skill on his Dol Amroth Bulwark shield is got Unyielding. At the start of each round, this formation's men units have a 16.7 chance to dispel a random debuff when defending. Okay, not too bad at all. Must use men units though, which will in particular would work really good with him. In particular, like Swan Knights as well would work very nice, or any kind of mounted unit. Okay, next we have Legolas' Bow of the Galadriel. Increases the commander HP of 145 and commander's attack of 6, with unit buffs of attack and defense plus 5. Now the skill of Mirkwood Dexterity, the commander's normal attacks inflict an additional 20.8% base physical damage. Next we have is Falgin's shield here, called the Hardy Buckler, has 3 commander stats of command plus 30, attack of 4 and defense of 4, so going to do some commander buffs there, and unit defense of plus 6. Now the skill Adventurer's Determination reduces damage received by one of the formation's melee units by 1% at base, increases damage dealt by the formation's range units by 1%, and the above effect gains 1% for each allied dwarf unit present and can stack up to 3 times. Very nice. So he's going to be really good in a formation with this shield. Alright, next we have is Haldir's March Warden outfit, increasing the HP of the commander of 145 and attack of 4, with unit buffs of attack and defense of 5 points each. Warden of the Forest, elf units in the commander's formation gain initiative and defense plus 3 when battling on woodlands, so not too many big changes seen there, only just some of the skill points and stats. Next we have is Balin's sword here, the Great Sword of Khazad-dûm. Now, commander of command plus 20 and attack plus 6. Unit attack and defense are increased by an attack of 4 and defense of 6. The skill of Ancestral Strength increases the damage that Balin and the formation's dwarf units deal to orcs and dragons by 2% at a base level. Next we have is Merry and Pippin's Barrow Blade. Now it's going to have 2 commander skills of command plus 20 and focus plus 4, with a unit attack and defense buff of attack of 4 and 6 defense. The skill of Last March, this formation's units recover 10% HP once each round if the formation is formed of hobbits. Recovers an additional 10% HP. So a little bit of HP buffing there from the Barrow Blade with Merry and Pippin. Next we have is Eomer's Guthwine, which is really good. Increases the commander's command of 30 and attack plus 6 at base, with a unit attack and defense of plus 4. Now the skill of Like the Wind, Eomer and his formation units gain the following effects in sequence. Initiative reach 30. The next instance of damage dealt by Eomer is increased by 5% base. Initiative reach 50. Mounted units in Eomer's formation prioritize attacks on enemy ranged units. Next we have is Eomer's Rohan's Refuge Shield, increasing 3 commander stats of HP 180, attack of 4 and defense of 5, with a unit buff of defense plus 4. The skill of Shield Maid's Cover is quite the same still. In the first 4 rounds, reduces range damage received by this formation's melee units by 5% at a base level. Now we have is Dwalin's Twin Axes, with a commander HP buff of 215, a commander attack buff of plus 4, and the unit buffs of attack and defense plus 4 as well. Battle Dance has still remained the same, with Dwalin's normal attack having a 20% chance, but an increased amount of damage of 16.6% at the base level for the Twin Axes. Alright, Aragorn 2's Even Star increases the commander's HP of 215 and commander attack of 6, with a unit attack and defense of +4. Now, we have the skill here of Undonbiel, which this formation's unit recovers 25% HP each round. Men units in the formation take 1 normal attack in place of 1 allied formation's attack. So it's going to do a little bit of defending there for the other formation. Okay, Frodo and Sam's sting used to be really good. Let's see if it's any good still. So, we're going to have the commander HP, and defense, and commander initiative. That's the first one we're seeing there. Increase of a HP of 215, defense of 4, and initiative +2, which is quite cool to see. With a unit defense of +5. So the skill of called Sting is my name. In the first 2 rounds, this formation has 11.7% chance to evade all damage when enemy armies include orcs. So if you can level this up a bit, and you're battling some evil formations with orcs in it, you could have some really good evasiveness skill done here with Sting. Next we have his Faramir's Cape, the Ranger's Cape, which is awesome. So we all know that it increases the commander's command +20, commander's attack +6, with a unit attack and defense of +4. The Athelian Ambush skill for the Ranger's Cape. In the first 2 rounds, Faramir and the formation's range units gain initiative, and their damage dealt is increased by 10% at a base level. It's Balin's Axe. So it increases 3 commander skills of HP of 215 base, with attack and defense of attack 6 and 4 for the commander, with a unit attack of 4. The skill of Durin's Focus. Gimli gains the following effects in sequence. If your attack reaches 50, your damage will be dealt +1% at base level. And attack reaches 100, the damage will also be increased by another further 1% at base. And if your focus reaches 50, you will gain Pursuit, which can be very useful. Okay, next we have is Borromir's Horn of Gondor. So it's going to increase 2 commander skills of command +30 and attack of 4, with unit buffs of attack and defense of 4 also. The skill is now called Gondor's Inspiration, which hasn't really changed. It just starts from round 6 onwards, and it will increase the damage done by men units in the only commander's formation of a base level of 6.6%. Moving on, we have Cirdan here, and we have the Sailor's Field Glass. Now, it increases some cool stats here for the commander of command of 30, but also increases focus and initiative of 6 with an initiative +2, and unit attack +5. Now, the skill of Crow's Nest. This formation units recover 25% HP once each round for 5 rounds. And this effect lasts till the end of combat when battling on crossings, which is crazy good. This is going to stack really good with his skills as well, because he does a lot of healing skills as well. Now one of the best healing commanders in the entire game. Okay, Radagast. We have the Brown Wizard's Hat, increasing 3 commander skills of HP of 180, focus of 6, and initiative +2. A unit defense of +6 as well. Now the skill Tender of the Beast will increase the formation beast units recovery of 25% HP once every single round. Alright, King Aragorn's Anduril. A lot of people have this unlocked. So we have commander +30 and attack of +6 with unit buffs of attack and defense +5 for Aragorn, King of Men. Now the skill Kingly Inspiration, upon dealing damage, has a 50% chance to increase the damage dealt by the formation of men by 0.5 at a base, and this can stack up to 20 times in the battle. Next we have is Gil-galad Eglos, which increases command of 30 and a commander attack of 4, with the same buffs on units of attack and defense of 6. Now the skill Blessing of the High King. For each allied men unit present, this formation's damage dealt will be increased at a base effect of 0.3 with a stacking of up to 5 times in battle. And for each elven unit, which you'll particularly be using mostly on Gil-galad present, the formation's unit recovery is increased by a base of 5% HP once every single round. Okay, next we have is Treebeard's Gift of the Forest, increasing all 4 commander stats here. So you're going to have a commander buff of 215 HP, attack of 6, and focus of 6 with a commander defense buff of +4. Now, the skill called Natural Force, the commander restores a base amount of 16.6 HP to his formation units once each round. It also has a 10% chance to dispel one debuff if this formation is formed of Ents, and this effect triggers one more time. That's quite nice. Okay, next we have is Thorin's Orcrist, which of course increases 3 commander stats of HP to 15, attack and defense of +6, and a unit defense of +4. Now his skill Slayer of the Orcs increases Thorin's damage dealt by 1.6% base when fighting Orcs and Uruk-hai units, reduces the formation's damage received by 1% when the enemy armies include Orcs. Next we have is King of the Dead Ring here of Coil of Dunharrow. We're going to have 2 commander buff skills here of command +30 and focus +5 with unit increase of attack of 6 and unit defense of +5. The skill is The Way is Shut. On round 1 I should say, deals 200% focus damage once to one enemy formation and does inflict madness on one target for 1 round. So that's very useful. It will stack really nicely with the amount of focus damage it already does, and inflicting madness is going to work really well. Unless people have kept anti-madness gear, it's pretty hard to stop madness now in battles. Alright, Beorn, we have Tribal Mortal Bond here, which is going to increase 3 commander skills of HP 180, attack of 6, and defense of 6, with a unit attack of 5. The skill of Foe, it increases during combat, increases the commander's attack by 2.5 base. If the enemy army includes Orcs, the attack will be increased by an additional 1.6% at base level. Okay, next we have is Elrond's Hadafeng, which increases the commander's command by 30, commander attack of 5 with unit attack and defense increased by an attack of 6 and unit defense of 5. Now the Throng Cleaver, after launching normal attacks, it will deal 11.6% base level damage once to one enemy formation, and it also does inflict pursuit, which is very nice indeed. Alright, of course we have the File of Galadriel, which is going to increase the commander's HP at base of 145, and then the rest of the stats for the commander and focus of +6 and unit defense of +6. Now the skill Lady of the Light, this formation's 4 units will recover 13.3% HP when Galadriel deals focus damage, and she does do a lot of focus damage, and that's going to stack really good with her other healing skills that she has as well on her portrait skill tree. Alright, next we have is Thranduil, which has his Mirkwood Mail here, which is quite nice. Increases commander's HP of 215 at base, and attack and defense of an attack stat of 6 and defense for the commander of 4, with a unit defense buff of +6. The Sindar Notability skill reduces the damage received by formation elf units by 3% when battling on woodlands. So that could be very nice. It could work on all if you use a full elven unit formation and you battle on those woodlands. Okay, we have the Hirugrium Sword now for Theoden, which increases the command for the commander of 30 and commander's defense +4, with a unit attack buff of 6 and unit defense of +4. The skill of Lord of the Mark has a reduced damage received by this formation's light cavalry, outrider, cavalier, and marshal at a base level of 4.1%. Gandalf the Grey. Now his relic, we have the Wizarding Smoking Pipe, which I actually have unlocked, has a base effect stat of command +30 and a commander's focus +4. The unit attack and defense will be increased by 5. Now the skill Leader of the Free Folk does do a reduction of damage by the commander's formation of 2 at a base level. Next we have is Gandalf the White's Galamdrig, who I think is a really good piece of relic here to be using if you have Gandalf the White. It increases the commander's command by 30 and commander's focus +6 at base, unit attack +5 and unit defense of 5. Now the skill Back to the Shadow, after the commander launches normal attacks, deals an extra 10% physical damage at base level once and 10% focus damage once. It reduces this formation's damage received by 1% at base level as well when the enemy army includes orcs. Okay, next my favorite, Narsil. So we have Isildur here, my absolute favorite. Increases the commander's command plus 30 and defense of 4, increasing the unit attack and defense of an equal amount of 6 points. Sun and Moon Splendor for Narsil has a 5% chance to target to succumb to madness after each normal attack when your army is composed of only men. Lasts for 1 round. Has an 8.3% chance to dispel a buff from the target when your army is composed of men and elves. I'm not sure how this is going to implement now. Maybe if you have a mixture in your formation of men and elves between your 4 commanders and armies, that may work. But I'm not sure. That may need to still be changed. I have seen this on a couple of other bits of gear, even though these are supposed to be updated. And our last one, guys, is Dane, who I will be getting this very soon. I've almost got it. I just need to do a couple more tasks when I get into a season. So we have the commander's HP plus 215, commander attack and defense plus 6, and a unit attack plus 4 for the Helm on the Mountain. We have the skill of Relentless Vigor, increases the physical damage dealt by this formation's commander by 0.5%. When this formation receives damage, it does stack up to 5 times. And there you go, guys. That's all the commanders' special gear, or now called relics, for the new version 2.0. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out, EJ's out, and I'll catch you guys later. See yas.
The EJU Army, yeah, you got